Well, good afternoon my YouTube friends, it's Margaret here from M.E.s Orchids, and I just wanted to do this last video today simply because this is one of those phalaenopsis that I've been struggling with, and let's just take a look. This one is only a store-bought one, but it's called Pulsation, and it's been a nice one, this has. It had nice blooms, and that's been my problem when I've not been very well. Can you see the salt build up down there? Let's just take her out, and then don't know whether you can see inside there on that lava rock there's a lot of salt build up there. Is that any easier to... oh yes, you can see it there, can't you? And this is what's happened when I come to check some of the phalaenopsis. Some of them, sorry, when I come to check some of them, this one's not too bad, but some of them they just burst open, some of these, with just green mush. There, I see. And actually this has surprised me. Excuse me, I thought this might have been worse. So that's a desiccated root there, and yet at some point it did have oh, what you see there, I've just touched that. Just bear with me a minute. Right, so let's just have a look. So that one there was just mush at the end. So if I find where the root starts, see, that part's alright, but let's cut it off at least to there. There we are. Now let's just have a look. To all intents and purposes you'd think that was a dead root, but that one is actually still viable, so I'm going to leave that one on. I did find with some of the others that they've gone very desiccated as well, those that hadn't reached that water level. Can you see what I'm doing? So the ones that hadn't reached the water level were desiccating, and the ones that had actually got the water level, they were the ones that were going mushy. And so I'm going to cut this one off now, but I'm going to cut it back into the green. I'm going to cut all that mush off. And let's have a look here. That's the one I've just left. Or is it this one? Let's have a look. And see this one? See, that's got a green growing tip on that, and yet you'd think, wouldn't you, from the rest of that root it's hardly worth saving, but I do believe we'll give that one a chance. Just going to cut this little wispy thing off here, you see, and we've got one beautiful green root. Have we got two? Oh yes, we've got two. Isn't that exciting? That one and that one. And if we see down there, can you see down there? There. That could be, yes, that could be the start of a flower inflorescence, but I'm not sure. So you see this bit of a dead root, I'm going to take that one off here, and then let's see if we're cutting the right one. That's it, that's off. Okay, so that's been my problem, is is these roots have become mushy, and as I say, we're going into winter now, and I can't run the risk of I'm going to take this, of these roots rotting anymore. I'm going to take that one off there, this one. Let's have a look. There we go. Now what kind of a pot to use, that's the next question. See, that's where it's flowered, and I've got a nice sized pot here, and I've also got this pot, but I think this one might be better. So let's just see how she fits in there without any kind of medium at all. Let's just see. Will she gently manoeuvre in there for me? And let's have a look. Let's just see whether she's going to stay in there. See how far her roots are down. Can you see? Sorry about that. So if I just twist her round and round, those roots will eventually sit down further in that pot. Can you see what I'm doing now? Although, you see that root there, I've just noticed that. So I've just taken that one out because they need to cut that back to the green. Right. So that's that new root, and that looks as though that's an aerial root. That's that other new root there, which is heading down. So if I can try and manoeuvre these roots, so that aerial root is allowed to stay outside, and that other root can then, there we go, that other root can then find that medium that I'm going to put in now. Now let's have a look how she sits. That's the most important thing. Does she sit okay? Because at this moment in time she's quite wobbly. And let's twist around. I think she'll be fine. That one's already sent the root through that cone there. So in some ways it sent it outside and it's come back in, so that will secure it. And to tell you the truth, I don't think we need any form of styrofoam in the bottom. So let me just have a look. Just bear with me a minute. I've got different bits and bobs here. I've got some bigger bark, I've got some orchiata bark, and I've got all kinds of things. So let's have a look. So this is some of the bigger bark. I'm just going to push gently down the sides here. Can you see? There, so it just goes down there in the bottom. I suppose really in some ways I could actually take her out and then do it. But while I've got her in now, and she's positioned nicely, sometimes you just have to go with the flow and see if you can manage just doing it this way. There we go. Because this is such large bark, I'm having to do this, of course, gently. I just push it down between the roots. the Orchiata bark in a minute. I shall just tip that in, and then that'll find its own level. But this big bark, I need that down there to enable those, to enable the air to come in and out between those roots. Let me just have a look how she's sitting now. And then, can you see? So she's not sitting badly at all, and that's that other root there. That's going to go down into that media. Now let's just see if I can tip some of this Orchiata bark down here. Just to go between those roots. Let me just push that down there. See, if you're not careful, sometimes the bark comes out the other side, but that's fine. I'll try and keep as much in as I can. And then let's put some down here. That's the last of my Orchiata bark. There might just be some over there, the other side of the garage, but as far as I'm aware, Keith just ordered some more, and that's gone up in price. Well, everything goes up in price, doesn't it? So, but the price is the price, and that's what we have to pay. Unfortunately, now what I'm going to do now is I've got some more of this Melrose bark here, and I'm just going to see whether it'll manoeuvre down there in between those cracks, and then this will then get watered, and hopefully that that root that's going to already, which is facing already down into the medium, that should take off now. Let's have a look. Can you see? I've just taken a second or two away because I just wanted to get a little bit more bark just to manoeuvre down there, just to keep those roots nice and firm. And I haven't got any of the Orchiata bark left, so it's just a case of making do with this larger bark. There's that nice growing tip, can you see? And I don't want to, of course, damage that. There's a nice big piece, look at that. If I can get that just to wedge there. It's all about making the orchid feel nice and snug in its pot. I've had to more than once take a pot out of its, take an orchid out of its pot simply just to make those roots more secure, and then, and if they're nice and secure, then the orchid hasn't a problem. That's it. Can you see now? Let's have a look here. That root now will just go between those two pieces of bark, so we're fine there. I don't think I need to squeeze anymore. I've got to be careful, otherwise I'm going to damage that root, and I don't want to do that. There we go. And actually, if I bring this back now, that I'll just manoeuvre it up. that same orchid now will actually sit in one of these vases. I'll remove the debris, the lava rock and that styrofoam peanuts base at the bottom, and it'll go back up into the grow room. This, of course, I'll wash it, and then it'll get watered, but that one should be fine now. And when I spoke yesterday about the TDS readings, I'll tidy up in a minute. Let me just show you. Better take this out here. So I did fertilise on the 3rd of November, and this was this is the mixture made up on the 28th, but some of it I used on the 29th. And I'd got just rainwater, but because the rainwater comes from outside in the water butt and it was terribly cold, I actually put some boiling tap water. So when I did the first TDS reading, it brought it to 93, which I couldn't understand, because normally it's around about 71. And then I suddenly remembered, well, that was because I'd added boiled tap water. Now, if you look at the pH, it was 5.98, so I didn't have a problem with that. So I added some calcium, and that brought it up to 284, the TDS to 284, and the pH was 5.95. And then with a splash of seaweed extract, initially it brought it up to 385, but I did put some more water in that, and I brought it down to 343, and then the pH was 5.96, so it was a compromise. That was slightly higher, and that was 596. If you look at the readings prior to that, that's slightly lower. But like I say, I didn't think the orchids would come to any harm, and they've all been watered and fed now. So thank you for joining me. This is the last of the videos this weekend. I'm going to sit back now and enjoy the weekend, and there we go. So from me to you, enjoy your orchids, enjoy the weekend, take care, bye bye now.